Hello everyone and welcome to the latest edition of the Weekly Tarot Check-in. My name is Julia, I am the Mindful Tarot Coach, and in this video I am going to give you some impulses with the help of the cards for the next week. It is not going to be a forecast or fortune telling, but it is very much about becoming aware of certain topics. Tarot, in my approach, is not about telling the future, but on the contrary, creating it by becoming aware about what is going on, what are the risks, opportunities, and how can we grow in this. So how can we make the best out of it for ourselves? As always, I like to emphasize that it is going to be a collective reading at a meta level. It can be very different how it is going to show and reflect in your life. That's why I encourage you to listen carefully, to pick up what resonates, and following your intuition, creating the most your own meaning out of it, right? This is very important. So you don't have to believe anything I'm saying. I'm just going to give you some impulses and ideas, and your job is to listen to where it rings a bell and pick up those impulses and those hints. All right then, this was the intro and now we can move on. Well, moving on is going to be the main topic of this week, together with rebirth, renewal, putting the past behind, and change. And this is pretty much signified by the main card, which is the Judgment card, number 20 in the Major Arcana. After this card, only one card comes in the Major Arcana before the cycle starts again, and indeed this card signifies approaching the end of a cycle. The Judgment is all about rebirth, renewal, absolution, and awakening. We have this angel here, and he or she calls us to take a look at all life, take a look at the common topics, the common patterns, realize and recognize them, and this way understanding why life has happened the way it happened, understand the lessons, recognizing the patterns, putting the story together, creating maybe a totally new narrative, and by doing so, and by integrating the story, being able to finally make peace with it, so that we can release this, put the past behind, and move on. A very important aspect and part in this is going to be self-reflection, right? So you really have to do the job and think about these common topics, take a look at yourself, your life, and try to understand what does it teach for you about yourself. And this carries actually a big potential, because this way finally you can understand something. So maybe some inner truth is going to come to light this week if you listen and observe carefully. So this is one thing. The other thing that this card can mean is decision. So it can be that you are going to arrive at some crossroads and you are going to have to make an important decision, and this aspect is confirmed by the reversed Two of Swords that completes this card from the Minor Arcana. This Two of Swords is anyway about being kind of stuck with a decision. As you can see, this guy or lady is blindfolded, and he or she sits there trying to make a decision, trying to take the left or the right. However, she is not there yet. She doesn't really know which way to go, because he or she is blindfolded, meaning that he doesn't have all the information needed for this decision, or because he or she hasn't managed yet to connect herself and see the inner truth. And if this card has come up in a reverse position, we can assume that this is getting at some point too much, so that we really feel stuck with a decision. We really feel stuck. We are at a stalemate and we don't really know which way to move. And this can be the case this week. Or if we can use the other impulses in a wise way, I'm going to tell you soon, then it can also signify that finally we are going to get out of this stalemate and move on by making the decision. Now let's take a look what opportunities and chances we have this week. And we have here a beautiful card, the Star. This is a wonderful card. It is all about personal transformation, harmony, balance. It is about being peace with yourself and with life and the universe around you. It is also about feeling connected and feeling supported from above. It is about, again, balance, harmony, and also about rebirth and transformation. And this way, this is very much in sync with what we have seen here. Both cards refer to some renewal and rebirth. This is very clearly signified by the nakedness, which refers to this, and it also refers in the case of the Star to some to a new level of authenticity, when you finally figure out who you really are, and you can also finally show this off, right? You are naked, you can show yourself, and this involves also a lot of vulnerability, which is a beautiful quality. So the Star is all about transformation and finally reaching this state of mind and being. And a very important task here is, again, putting the past behind, right? And this is, again, a beautiful reference back to this card again. The Stars also invite us to put the past behind. And given that we have this card here as a chance, it shows that yes, this week we are going to have the chance of putting the past behind, and by transforming ourselves, finally reaching this beautiful harmonious state of mind. We have here the Six of Swords as a complementary card, and this again confirms the aspect of putting the past behind, because the Six of Swords is the card of the mental transition. As you can see, this is really about a rite of passage. It is about leaving something behind and moving towards something new. And this transition is, more often than not, is very painful. It can involve a lot of sorrow, grief, regrets, and the like. However, you have to know that this is a regretful but very, very necessary transformation and transition, and this is going to be at the end good for you, because if you are able to make this transition, then you can reach a much better state in life. You can reach the Star, right? So these two cards carries a great potential, and make sure make the best out of it. Now the question is how, right? And this is where it gets really interesting, and I love the cards that have come up here, because we have here a reversed Hanged Man as an advice. And I found the Hanged Man here super interesting because it is very much in sync with the reversed Two of Swords, which is the main topic, right? And the Hanged Man indeed is also about feeling stuck. It is about hitting the pause button, it is about for stopping for a while, and instead of acting, trying to meditate and observe things in order to gain a better understanding about what is going on and about what would be the right decision, right? So this is what the Hanged Man is about. And if it comes up in a reverse position, we can assume that this kind of this is getting too much, so we arrive again at a stalemate when at some point we finally have to move on. We finally have to make a decision that we are trying to put off, and this is okay for a while, but again at some point we have to move on, and this is what the Hanged Man tells us. Another interesting message from the Hanged Man, in my understanding, is that it also invites you to get out of the victim role, right? And in this way, it is also very much in sync with the Judgment, because the story what we create here is going to serve us. We can move on if we understand that what has happened didn't happen to us, but it happened for us, and we have also played an active role in our life, right? And this is sometimes a very inconvenient and painful truth, but it is also very liberating, because this way we understand that in the future we can create our own destiny by actively doing things. So by stepping out of the victim role, by understanding our own responsibility, and by making decisions, right? This is very important. So again, the Hanged Man invites us for stepping out of this victim role to finally move on, yeah, just moving on. And this is confirmed by the Two of Pentacles. And I love the Two of Pentacles here, because here we have a card that reflects or somehow mirrors beautifully this card, right? So observe the similarities and the differences between those two cards, and you will understand what I mean. Because what we have here is this stalemate, this stuck position, and this guy, on the contrary, is dancing. He is swinging. He is getting into the flow of life, swinging into the rhythm of change, which is the very nature of life. And this is indeed, this card is very much about accepting change, about moving on, and about going with the flow, right? Instead of being stuck in a position. So if I put these two cards together, I could say, yes, try to get out of this dead end, out of this stalemate, make a decision, make your transition, and move on. All right, then, last but not least, let me show you the whole constellation, because this is where it gets really interesting. Because if you see the whole constellation, then you are going to also see how these cards relate to each other and refer to each other. All right, then. So again, the main topic, the Judgment card, invites us for self-reflection, absolution, integration, putting the story behind, and for making a very, very important decision. This is confirmed by the Two of Swords. And if we are able to make those decisions, then we are going to have the chance for a personal transformation and a rebirth, and we can arrive at a much better state of life, involving a regretful but very necessary mental transition. This is not going to be easy, but this is going to help us to reach those better state, what the star signifies here. And the advice what we have here is, again, to get out of this stuck position, as these two cards show here, to get out of the victim role, and it's kind of also getting enlightened, as this guy shows, And this is going to help you to finally understand some very important inner truths, and this is going to support you in understanding yourself much better, who you are, what do you stand for, where is your place in the universe, right? So again, move on, go with the flow, embrace and accept change, because if you do so, again, you are going to be able to reach this beautiful star position, which is again all about balance, harmony, authenticity and purpose. I guess that these are beautiful closing words. Thank you so much for showing up today. In case you liked it, please like it, share it, subscribe. In case you want to have a one-on-one session with me, you have the chance for this as well. The details for this you can find below in the description section. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. See you next week again. Till then, take care of yourself. Ciao.